There we go. I think we're live. I want to welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is Sharon Rhodes, and we're continuing our 21 days of encouragement. And I am really enjoying some of the things that we're putting together and the thoughts that we're sharing and your comments. So keep the comments coming, share your thoughts, ask your questions. And if you have friends that are over 50 and you think they'd enjoy this group, please invite them. So we're over halfway through our 21 days. Today is day 12. All of the other posts and videos are filed in a unit called 21 Days of Encouragement. I noticed this morning, though, when I was going back through the unit, that there appears to be a video missing, and it may be that Facebook deleted it. I will go back and check it again, and if it is truly missing and I didn't just mislabel something, I'll re-record it and post it as a video so that we'll have a complete set. All right, so today we're going to talk about collecting moments, cherishing moments rather than things. And this is a really big one. At least it has been for me. It's been a huge life lesson that I have learned, and I'd like to share some things that I would like to pass on to you because it might spare you some of the agony that I went through. Now, some of us are in that stage of life where we have already helped our grandparents or our parents downsize their belongings, maybe move into assisted living, or maybe they've even passed on and we had to clear out their things. You might be like I was. I'm the oldest of four, and I literally became the repository for all things that my grandparents and then my parents couldn't part with. I can hear my mother saying, "Oh, this needs to stay in the family," when I was packing up her things for one of her moves. Or, "Oh, Daddy bought me this for our 25th wedding anniversary." And I knew how much she cherished whatever that thing was. And so I just painstakingly packed it up and moved it twice to two different states. And with each move, as she downsized more, I gained more in our house because I brought it home. She couldn't part with it, and I had to honor her wishes. I chose to honor her wishes, not to let it go, to keep it in the family. And so I kept them, partly because of that, and partly because they were so precious to me. Memories of loved ones who had passed on, or memories of my childhood that my mom could no longer maintain. I had this notion that my kids would absolutely cherish all those things, and that they would be so grateful when it came time for me to pass on to them all that stuff that I had collected. Not so. Wrong-o. You know, most kids these days don't even own a photo album. So a bookcase full of photo albums, those old timey albums where you had the little corners that you stuck, pasted on the paper pages, and then you stuck the photos in them, maybe even a Polaroid. Most kids don't even understand that. In fact, they think it's downright archaic. All of their photos are on their phone or in the cloud somewhere. They don't want all that stuff. And all that beautiful furniture, heavy antique oak stuff, bookcases. You don't have to have a bookcase for Audible books, you know. So all that beautiful furniture that I had moved into our home, that consequently left us with very little extra wall space and gave me a whole lot more surface area to dust, it was seen by my kids as dark and heavy and old. And it certainly didn't go with any of their stuff that they had gotten from IKEA. So I held on to each and every piece, clinging to memories. And I guess I did it because I thought that was how I could feel closer to those loved ones. who had gone on. Now, about that same time, Bill and I decided that we wanted to downsize from our big house. We had about 4 acres. And Bill used to always say to me, well, this is what keeps us young. And I finally convinced him that having a condo right on the ocean where we could walk along the beach every day and be free to travel wherever and whenever we wanted to would also keep us young. So there we were. We were facing our own downsizing, and we had this house full of cherished things. And I got paralyzed because I didn't know where to start. I didn't want to get rid of them. I was holding on to them. So as we started our own downsizing, at first I approached it by getting rid of the things that were ours and holding on to those cherished family heirlooms, things. And then we took a half step when we moved from our large house into a 3-story townhouse that we own as a rental. And we thought we would stay there. And we soon realized 3 stories might keep us young, but we weren't going to stay there very long. And that did give us some space to move some of those heirlooms, that big old heavy furniture and all those photo albums. We did have space to put them there. But when we decided that we weren't going to be a 3-story family, I had to bite the bullet and make those decisions. And I'll tell you, during that time frame, my kids actually started avoiding me because they said every time they would stop by, I'd try to give them something to take home and make them feel guilty, because not intentionally, but they said they couldn't take it. They didn't want it. They didn't see the value in it. So finally, one day, I sat with some of my oils and just prayed and thought and meditated and considered, zoomed out to take a look at life and how I was so stuck in the transition from the past to that dream that we had of living on the ocean, which is where I wanted to be, where we wanted to be. But I just couldn't take the steps to get from where I was to where I wanted to be, because I was paralyzed by holding on to those things. And so finally I got it. I realized I was holding on to those things in an attempt to hold on to happy memories, cherished moments with loved ones who were gone. And the thought came to me that none of those loved ones were the least bit concerned anymore about all that stuff that I was holding on to. That antique front hall chest that we had moved so many times, that had held the trinkets that my dad used to give away to the little kids that were his dental patients. He had long gone on to a better place, and he no longer needed those memories because they were etched in his being rather than being in that chest. So I got it. The memories, what I was trying to hold on to, wasn't in that stuff. I looked at a sealed bag of dresses that my dear precious nanny wore 50 years ago, that I'd been carrying around with me in a sealed bag. And I realized that she's now clothed in the finest array of heavenly clothing. And she hadn't given those dresses one bit of thought in the last 50 years. And I've been holding on to them. So I gave those dresses to one of my cousins, who's very creative, and she made a little trinket for each one of Nanny's grandchildren out of those dresses. I looked at the four sets of china that I had accumulated over the years, mine, my mom's, and both my grandmother's. I didn't use any of them. And I came to realize that I couldn't even remember which set belonged to which grandmother. And those two grandmothers certainly were no longer concerned about that china. So what all those loved ones whose things that I was clinging on to, it affected my well-being. And I knew that they would want me to live the rest of my days walking on the ocean, living in that condo, traveling around, doing what I wanted to do. And that was the key that allowed me to look at it from a more healthy perspective and to release myself from holding on to something that I didn't really need to hold on to. Because what I had was the cherished memories, the moments that I could take with me on the walk to the beach, that I could take with me anywhere I traveled. So I made a list of all the things. I put it on a spreadsheet, actually. I estimated the value of every piece. I created a plan to find a home for each piece very lovingly. And I did just that. I advertised it on Facebook and in the local paper, and people came and got the things, and they cherished people that wanted them, that were so happy to receive some of the pieces. And I made some new friends with a couple people. So one lady still sends me a picture every once in a while of that front hall chest and how it's in her home and how she decorates it for each holiday. And that front hall chest now has a new home where somebody loves it and cares for it. So I got rid of the stuff. Somebody else got the stuff, and I made some new friends. And I got to live on the beach. Now, here's the most interesting part. With each single piece that I gave away, once I had that little breakthrough, I seemed to actually draw nearer to the loved one who owned it. I realized that I wasn't holding on to those things that I cherished. It was the moments that I was holding on to that I'd had with their owners. And nothing can take that away from me. Those memories get more vivid and sweeter every day. So, I've been telling you every day now for 12 days, how essential oils, or not just essential oils, but how any aroma, the baking of bread, chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin pie, a certain cologne, leaves in the fall when you're raking leaves, any aroma, but especially the beautiful aroma of essential oils, can release memories in the central part of our brain called the limbic system, or the amygdala, that we don't even realize we hold. Good memories, happy memories, thoughts, as well as sad and traumatic memories that we certainly need to release so that we can move on and stay healthy. So I used my oils. I got through that. I learned a huge lesson, and I hope this has been helpful to you, because I know a lot of people that have been through this or are in the process of going through this life lesson about holding on to things, and how our younger generations just don't want or need these things. And if neither of those fit, you might be facing it one day and you don't realize it. So remember this conversation, because it'll spare you a lot of heartache. I really was almost physically ill about the thought of getting rid of all that stuff. So here's a little surprise. This one that's very helpful for this releasing those things is a blend called Christmas Spirit. Now, I know it's June. I haven't lost it. We can use Christmas Spirit 12 months out of the year. It's a wonderful blend. It has orange oil, cinnamon bark oil, and black spruce. Now, because of the cinnamon bark, you really want to avoid getting this one on your face, because if you're like me, if I put it in my hand and make a little tent over my nose and face, I'll have a little red mark right here. I did this yesterday because I love to smell it. And I just wasn't thinking. I put a drop in my hand, rubbed my hands together, put it like this. And Bill came in and said, what's wrong with your face? It was the cinnamon bark. It just brings the blood to the surface. So this one you want to put someplace not in a tender area of your body. If you're going to use it topically, you could put it on your wrist. You could put it on the bottoms of your feet. Or you could dilute it with an organic carrier oil or vegetable oil, like olive oil or coconut oil. And then you don't have to worry about it making your face red. Okay? It smells wonderful. Wonderful. It's just beautiful. And with just those 3 single oils, orange, cinnamon bark, and black spruce, it helps to bring back so many cherished moments, memories of cherished moments of holiday excitement. Because think about it. Did you ever poke cloves in oranges and hang them around at Christmas time? Or put them in a bowl on the table? We used to. And so the aroma of those oranges, as you poked the clove in there, you could smell the clove too, but the wonderful aroma of the orange rind just permeated the room and smelled so fresh and inviting, like liquid sunshine. And so the orange in here reminds me of that. And the cinnamon, well, that reminds me of candy canes and stockings and all the surprises that used to hang on the mantle with all those loved ones whose things I was holding on to. And I don't need their things because I've got their precious memories and moments. And this helps me remember them. And the spruce reminds me of the smell of real Christmas trees. Yeah, back then we used to have real trees. And so today I'll leave you with this. I encourage you that if you're hanging on to things for all good reasons, just consider what we've talked about today. How maybe it's actually better if you find good homes for those things. Release that so that you can hold on and spend your energy, invest your energy into remembering the precious, cherished moments and the memories that you created with the people that used to own those things. That's all I have for today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about, tomorrow's a good one. We're going to talk about spreading love everywhere you go and always leaving people happier after they've been with you. So stay tuned for that. I am going to be on the road all day tomorrow traveling. So what I'll do is I'll schedule the post to come up tomorrow morning. And then right after that, I will pre-record a video for tomorrow's encouragement and post that as well. So no live tomorrow, but there will be a video tomorrow for you for day 13. We're almost done. It's going to be kind of sad, isn't it? All right. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.